We really are lacking the data to really understand what's going on at a population level for trans individuals with type 1 diabetes, what's the prevalence of trans individuals with type 1 diabetes. Those numbers are not well known, at least in the US context. For particularly around type 2 diabetes, we definitely have a little bit more information in terms of what's the prevalence, in terms of seeing that trans individuals, at least in the US context, don't have necessarily a higher likelihood of having diabetes, but may in fact have more risk factors for diabetes in terms of issues around excess weight, issues around engaging in physical activity to address type 2 diabetes. But we are seeing that more research is showing that hormone therapy may affect some of the risk factors around diabetes in terms of affecting insulin resistance and sensitivity and so forth. So, but that is very recent data. We're still really trying to flesh that out. For people with diabetes, hormones may affect how effective some of their insulin treatments are, but we don't have data to really say that definitively. And in fact, we have some data that shows that maybe it is affecting people's insulin dose, whereas other research from different countries and such are showing that probably doesn't have an effect. This is one of those things where you probably can't see that I'm waving my hands a lot because we don't have the data to really say for certain which way it's going. We need more data. We need to have population surveys, clinical settings where people are being asked to share their gender identity so that we can actually identify them in population surveys and that we can better understand their clinical outcomes and such. I feel like that's the main next step. After that, I would say we need to think about how interventions for folks are respectful and honor their identity. For trans individuals, going to an entire support group around weight loss or physical activity that has no other trans individuals might not be a safe feeling environment, and therefore we should probably think about tailoring interventions around people's identity to make sure that they know that they're supported and they have community essentially. We need to acknowledge that sexual identities, gender identities, diverse identities have existed for all of humanity, and that clinicians should be prepared to care for them and should be able to ask questions with a degree of comfort that they would ask any other demographic questions.